Bubbly Bears, as we continue to talk about apples, apples, apples. Today we're going to read a story about apples. Yesterday we talked about the parts of an apple. Remember, you have the skin, that's the outside of the apple. You have a stem. Apples have the flesh, that's the part you eat. The core is the part we throw away. And the seeds are what's on the inside of an apple. And when you finish, when you can't eat anymore, it's called the core. So let's look at this story, the Big Apple Mystery. If something is a mystery, what does that mean? It means you probably have to solve something. You got to pick up on the clues. So again, you're going to be an apple detective. So let's look at this book. You see the front? There's the back of the book. Wow, there's the spine. The Big Apple Mystery is our title. Peter Maloney and Felicia Zukauskis are the authors of the story. It doesn't tell us who the illustrators are. So let's take a look at the story. The Big Apple Mystery title page. Here we go. The day of the class trip finally arrived. Oh, wow. Looks like they might be going picking apples. All aboard, cried Mrs. Robinson. The children piled into the bright school bus. Soon they were off. They were on their way. They were going apple picking. So the kids are going on a field trip, apple picking. Now remember, said Mrs. Robinson, never lose sight of your buddy. And when I ring the bell, everyone returns to the school bus. Peter, you're with Felicia. Russell, you're with Toby. Rich, you're with Cliff. And Lou, you're with Patty. So the teacher buddies them up on the trip. And remember, when she rings the bell, what has to happen? They have to go back to the bus. Picky, picky. The orchard is what we call it, was filled with ripe apples. There were red ones, green ones, and yellow ones. There were even a few rotten apples. So boys and girls, an apple orchard, or some people might say an apple orchard, that's a place where you can see tons of apple trees. So now they're picking their apples. Let's keep reading. Taste this apple, Felicia said to Peter. Peter took a bite. The apple was crisp, sweet, and juicy. It's delicious, said Peter. So now, after picking a few, they're eating an apple. Wrong, laughed Felicia. It's a Macintosh. A Macintosh is a type of apple. So as we go on, where's Peter? Soon everybody's bag was filled with apples. Then Mrs. Robinson rang the bell. Remember, when she rang the bell, it meant they had to head back to the bus. We'd better go, Felicia said to Peter. It's time to meet at the bus. But Peter did not answer. Peter hadn't heard her. Peter was gone. Oh, no, cried Felicia. Peter's lost. I better get help. So Peter and Felicia were partners or buddies, and now she cannot find him, and it's time to go back to the bus. Here, here, not here. Back at the bus, Miss Robinson was taking attendance. Russell, she called. Here. Toby, here. Felicia? There was a moment of silence. Then Felicia suddenly appeared. She was out of breath. Peter's missing, she gasped. So Miss Robinson's calling the roll, and Felicia is telling her that Peter's missing. Felicia, what happened? Asked Mrs. Robinson. Peter is your buddy. I don't know, said Felicia. I turned around for a second. He was gone. Everybody, get on the bus, said Mrs. Robinson. Felicia and Russell, come with me. We're going to find Peter. So now the mystery is to find where Peter's located. Let's keep reading. The giant apple. Felicia, Russ DeLuca, and Miss Robinson went back into the orchard. We were right here, explained Felicia. Then the bell rang, and Peter was gone. They went from tree to tree, but Peter wasn't anywhere. Then Felicia looked up. Oh, my. What do you think Felicia finds when she looks up? Let's keep reading. Look up in that tree, cried Russ DeLuca. It's a giant apple. It's red, all right, said Felicia. But that's no apple. That's Peter. Peter, what are you doing up there? Asked Mrs. Robinson. So there's Peter, boys and girls, stuck in the tree. I climbed up to pick an apple, but then I was afraid to climb down, said Peter. How are we going to get him down? Asked Felicia. Let's shake the tree, said Rustaluca. That will get him down. Russell, run and get Farmer Brown, said Mrs. Robinson, and ask him to bring a ladder. So now Peter's afraid to get down. Look at his face. He's frightened and scared. You've ever been scared before? Remember, he climbed up the tree, and now he's afraid to get down. Mrs. Robinson and Felicia waited under the tree. Suddenly, a strong wind blew. Branches swayed from side to side. Leaves flew. Dozens of apples plopped to the ground. So did 2 red sneakers. I'm losing my grip, cried Peter. Just then, Farmer Brown and Rustaluca came running. They leaned the ladder against the tree. Farmer Brown climbed up and plucked Peter and the big apple from the branch. So Peter's rescued. He was saved. Peter was safe. Well, said Mrs. Robinson, I guess you win the prize for the biggest apple of the day. Peter's cheeks turned bright red. Look, teased Rustaluca. Peter's blushing. Peter's not blushing, said Felicia. He's ripening, just like an apple. I hope you enjoyed that story. Now let's talk about when you get ready to eat an apple. Thumbs up if you've ever eaten an apple. Of course you have. Let's look right here. The first thing you do when you get your apple, after you wash it, you take a what? A bite. And then you continue to take more what? Bites. And then you get down to the what? The core. So boys and girls, you're going to color your pictures and you're going to put it together. Have it on cards. There's my apple. Start with my whole apple. I took 1 bite. See that? Whole apple, 1 bite. Mrs. Brown is eating more of the apple. And then we get to the end, we have the core. Remember, the apple is 1 color. So if your favorite color is apple is green, then you do green apple. If it's red, you're doing the red apple. If it's yellow, you're doing the yellow apple. And remember, the stem is brown and the green leaf on an apple. Enjoy your apple sequencing. Put it in order.